Welcome to Explain It Like I'm 5. Filters in AL are very different from SQL. Hey, I'm Eric, and filters in AL is a foreign concept for a lot of people coming to the platform because you're probably used to SQL, to LINQ, or some other query language. Now we have these filters, and how should you use them and how do they work? That's what this video about, and I'll take it slow, nice and slow, and we'll cover all what you need to know to understand what you can do with filters. And I think the first thing we need to talk about is the fact that in AL there are two different ways you can access data in the database. One is with filters, but the other one is typically is known as a get. So we can get a record, and let me actually. So here is a fresh app, and so let's say that I create a new variable. I call it customer because it's from the customer table. So if I know what customer I want, I can go customer get, and then I know it's number 10,000. This will get that customer. Every record in Business Central has a unique primary key. We do not have tables with duplicate primary keys, or we do not have tables without keys, and all sorts of different concepts that exist out in the real world. Every table have a unique primary key. Every record can be uniquely get. If we go to a journal, for instance, so we can do the general journal. I think it's called Gen. See if I can remember the name here. Gen journal. What? See if I can even find that. We go with sales line. How about that? Sales line. So see the primary record of a line on an invoice. We can see here is document type, document number, line number. So even though there isn't a true visual primary key on screen, there's always a primary key in the table. So if we were to get a sales line, we would do the same thing. So we could do sales line dot get, and then we need to remember the fields. So the first field in the primary key is the document type. So we can go enum document. Let's see if we can. What it's called is called sales document type, and I think we need to go and we have sales document already. So I think we can just actually go here and say order, and then perhaps it's sales order 1, 2, 3, and then line 20,000. This will get that specific line with this primary key. So the first way of getting to any data, if you know exactly what record you want, you can always get it. And you don't need to think about filters. There is a weird variation of get. Rarely used, but you could. Let's do this with customers. So you could end up in a situation where you have, in this case, we go customer number equals 30,000. So we have the primary key fields on the record filled out, then we can actually do a find equal. So find equal is basically the same as a get. So so we can, if we do change this to 30,000, this will do the exact same thing as this will. There are some rare cases where you get the record filled out, but you actually need to get it from the refresh it from the database. In case where you need to refresh it, then find equal will simply get the record in question from the database. So if we know the primary key, we can get a record. There's no filters involved. As soon as we're in one of two scenarios, maybe I'll come up with a third one, but right now we have one or two scenarios. One is that we want to get a record, but we want to get it on non-primary key fields. So let's say that we know, and we can see if we go in here. So we have relay cloud. So for some reason we cannot do relay cloud here. Was that right? Can relay cloud? Yeah, that's right. So this doesn't work because this is not the primary key. So we cannot get it by the name. But we could do customer set, and then the next thing that is really confusing is that we can do set range, or we can do set filter. We'll get back to range in just a second. So we can do set range name, we can do relay cloud. So now we have set a filter on the record saying that when we're working with this variable, we are reducing the records we want to know about to all the ones that have relay cloud as the name. But we have not actually executed this. So at this point we have just set the filter. The filter does not come in effect until at some point we do a find command. And ignore find by email. That's a built-in thing here. So we got find first, find last, find set. We just use find equal. Otherwise, there's rarely a need for find. Find has the ability to you can ask for something that is larger than what you have and stuff like that. But you can also ask for the first one, but it's better to do find first. So in this case, we tell the server, find the first record within the filter. We don't care about if there's more than one. So dear server, don't optimize yourself to assume that we need more than one record. So in case of find first, we just ask for one. The server is very forgiving, because if you then decide, I need more, then you can still get it. So the server is super nice in this way, but that will not be a particular optimized situation. But so show your intent when you use find. But in this case, we have told that we set a filter, name should be relay cloud, find the first one. And we can let's actually run this. So I will do message here, result equal %1, and then we'll just show the customer number in this case. How about that? So I will hit F5 to run this little program. Result equal 50,000. So we found that record. We set one filter and we found the record. So let's do something else. Then let's do a set filter again. And this time we'll do it on address. And we'll just some road. That's where we need. So now we have 2 filters. And what's happening now? So I run this again. And you can see that now it's blinking down here. Let's actually close the other one just so not confuse you. So now find first, and if we go in here and we look at locals, we will see that there's an exception saying that there is no customer within the filter. Filter's name, Rally Cloud, address, some road. So we set 2 filters, nothing happened. As soon as we call find, it fails. Perhaps we could improve this program and say that if we find something, then do this, else message and then nothing within filter. Like that. So now the program will not fail, but the find will just say nothing within filter now. So in this case, we have now set 2 filters on the same record on 2 different fields. Let's try another one. So we can also, let's get rid of them. So I said that, hey, we could also do set range. And what does set range do? Set range is actually interesting. So I can do customer.setRange name. And you can see this is, let's see if this works. We'll hit a 5. I think it works. I think it works, but we found it, yeah. Where did we go? Here we are. So in reality, right now, these 2 lines are kind of the exact same thing. But setRange has 2 unique features, and I think there's actually a video somewhere on the channel where I go into the details when to use one and when to use the other. But setRange has 2 abilities that are very nice. The first one is that it knows the type, meaning that I could here say, let's say that on name I want 123.50. Then the compiler says, hang on, you have put in a decimal, but this field is a text 100. So how are you gonna, that's not gonna compute. You cannot filter a text on a decimal. But if I go up here and I put in 100 like that, then it will just not find anything, because now it will just look for a customer that has a name that's 123.50. Sometimes you can make this slightly more clever by using a placeholder, and now the compiler is clever enough to tell you, hang on, that still doesn't compute. So you could say that set filter would %1, and then it's kind of the same thing as set range. But set range, as implied in the name, has another trick up its sleeve. So what we could do is that we can do customer set range, and then we'll do the number. Oops. And I'll say 10,000 here, and I'll say 40,000 here. And now maybe we want to do customer.count, so we'll know how many there are. So now we have specified a range, and this is a range that fits the field. So in this case, number is a code field, so the text string is acceptable. So if I run this, hopefully we get a 4, meaning that there are 4 customers within this range. So now we have told that limit the amount of records that are available on this variable to the ones where a number is from 10,000 to 40,000, both included. Find first doesn't really make any sense now, because as soon as we are talking about more than one record, then typically we will do if customer.find set. Find set means that we will still get find set. Well, if we just run it, see if we change this from this line to this line, and then we go back to show the customer number, then in reality find set and find first will do the same thing. So now we will get the very first record, 10,000, just as we did. Let's change this to 30, but just for making more obvious. So find set will give us the first one. The difference here is that on the server, because you have told find set, then the server says, now that I'm accessing the database, I might as well get some more than just one record, because he said find set, so he will probably want to get the next one right away. And typically I would. Then I would say repeat. So here's the interesting thing, that even though so this is another difference to SQL, that you don't really get all these records as a thing. You still need to work them, to traverse the set. So now I can say repeat until, and then I'll go customer.next. So customer, and I'll actually put a 1 in here. So until customer.next 1 equals 0. And what does next mean? Next means that take a step in the data set. So there's the implicit find first in the find set. So ask the server to make sure that you know that we're going to get more than one record. So do your thing and optimize SQL for that, and then give me the first one. Then I ask for a next, meaning that now I'm within this set. So next one means step 1 forward. And we could also do step 5, meaning step 5. So take every 5th if we wanted that. But typically you would want every one record. But it will then return how many steps it was actually able to do. So in this case, if we run this, we get 30 and we get 40, we're done. So we get 30,000 out of the find set as the implicit find first. So we show that, then we are able to step 1. So we ask it to step 1, then it returns a 1 because it actually was able to step 1. So we go back and we message the next one, and then we ask to step 1, and it's not able to step beyond 40,000, so it returns a 0, and we're done. You saw that I started by not writing the 1. So if you don't specify 1, then 1 is implied. That's the default value. When you're in a find set, what you also the contract you make with the server is that you're not going to do funny stuff like going backwards and stuff like that. You're going to basically follow the pattern on screen. We could go and do find first here again. If we do find first and we run this, then we get the same thing. Now we could go and say find last, And then we could put a -1 in here. So now we ask to find the last record in this thing, and then we go backwards. This is not optimized, so if you want to do this across tens and thousands of records, you're gonna get a way worse performance out of that if that you do find set and run it through the normal way, but you can. And you can also, let's see, now this is getting complicated. So let's put a begin here and then end here. So I could do this, yeah, especially if I put a semicolon of these. So we do a find last. $40, $30, $30, $40. So we do a one way, then the other way. So it lives. The data set lives. Okay, so that's a range. We could also accomplish a range with the filter command. So we could say set range on number, and then we could do %1 ... %2, and we could pass the placeholders like that. That would be the exact same effect. Well, if it was the same numbers I chose, as these two lines will basically be the same. There's a lot of hearsay and whatever out in the channel. Everything is a set filter, and set range will just, at the end of the day, everything is a filter. The difference between set range and set filters is mainly the ability to specify range and the ability to have it type checked without having to do all these things. If you want to do weird filters, let's talk about those for a second. No, not weird filters, complex filters. So let's say that we want, let's do a set filter again here on the number. That's fine. And at some point I'll run it, and then it's weird if it does the backwards thing. Just go back to set here. That's nice. Okay, so let's say that I want some specific customer numbers. So I want 10,000, and I want 30,000 and 50,000. What I can do here is that I can say pipe. And there's always some confusion about this, because in natural language, you would say that I want 10,000 and 30,000 and 50,000. And if you go look at syntax filtering, you would say, you need to do the ampersand, because 10,000 and 30,000 and 50,000. Those are the three I want. But if we run this, we get nothing, because what we have actually written here, and this is where computers are sometimes not as intuitive to language as we would like it. What we have told the computer here is that we want to find customers where the customer number is 10,000 and 30,000 and 50,000 at the same time, which is pretty hard to have one number being three numbers at the same time. Result, you're not getting anything. So we have actually used the pipe, and the pipe means or, meaning that we want customers where the number is 10,000 or the number is 30,000 or the number is 50,000. And we can let's just do the count here so we can see what we're getting. We get 3. as expected. There is a few cases where you want the and. Let's go in here and then give School of Art. There's a credit limit, 49. There's a credit limit on all of them saying 49. No. Okay, we can work with that. So hang on. So we can do now set a filter again on credit limit. And what we can do is say that maybe it has to be larger than 0 and less than 100. Fair enough. But hang on, you could do that with a dot. Yeah, you can. But now we're demonstrating the and thing. So this will probably give us those 2, I assume, unless there's more than 49. There are 2 of them. But we can also reverse this now. So we want all those that are less than 0 or larger than 100. What's happening here? Let's see if we can kill this. Apparently 1. So and or, you have to think about them. You have to translate your natural language the right way, as a logic expression, not a positive selection of things. You can also combine it. So you could say up till 0 or 100. So you can specify 2 ranges like this. See, and then we got 3 again. So let's kill some tabs here before I drown. There you go. Something beyond the explain it like I'm 5 is that it is possible to set 2 independent filters on the same field using something known as field groups. I think there's a video on that somewhere, but that's not something we're going to touch here. When you set a filter, then you might want to give the system a bit of help. And what do I mean by help? So let's say we go back to let's actually take a look first. So we assume, and it's the credit limit that we want to work with. So we can do customer set current key. Sometimes we get some useful hints. Otherwise, we can navigate quickly and see what keys do we have on a customer. We do have a name, address, city. We do have just a name. So let's say that we're going all the way back to this guy, and we do the relay cloud. Then we can tell the system, hey, there is a key. You do have a key in the system on the field. So here's a hint. This key does 2 things. It helps the server figuring out, but actually the server is surprisingly clever. So this is rarely needed. It will probably figure out the best way of doing it anyway, but it also helps the sorting. In this case, we're only getting one, so it doesn't really matter that much in what order the one record is in. But in case you're getting a range of records, then the order of your set is determined by the current key. So, but don't think that, okay, if I ever set filters, I do need to add a key. That is only a good idea in case of a lot of records and a lot of usage on that specific thing. Otherwise, the server is pretty clever, and maintaining a key on a high traffic table, if you only use that that key once in a while, is actually a bad trade-off. But there are you can see that in telemetry. If you get a long-running SQL statement, you can also use the performance profiler to look at some of these statements, how long they take. So there's you can see if you have something that suddenly takes a long time and it might benefit from adding a key. I think that is as far as we should go in the ELI5. So what we have done today is that we have looked at get versus filters. So if you know the primary key, you don't need to worry about filters. You can always just go and grab the record you need. Filters, two purposes: one, to locate a record, locate a single record to non-primary primary key fields, or to get a set of records. You can combine the statement on a single field. You can add filters to multiple fields. It's only going to process at the point where you do a find command. So all the set filter, set range commands, you can do all of them. It just remember what you set, and they only come into effect when you actually do the find. There was actually one more thing I wanted to do. So if we were back to the find set, I just want to show you something. And you see this sometime, and I could argue that it's probably not very good to do, but I think you can also find it in Microsoft code anyway. So you have the option where something happens. You find now let's do the, instead of the name, let's do the credit limit. So you search for a thing, a set, and then you get something, and then you can apply another general business posting group retail. Then you can apply another filter. This filter has no effect on the records you have until you do another find of some sort. But you will see sometimes this staggered approach, and it's probably not the cleanest code to do, but I think I've been guilty of doing it too, and I know Microsoft is guilty of doing it in a few places. It resets everything, so whatever we find here is forgotten, and then we find a new set. So we're not building upon the data set or stacking or whatever. We're just replacing the current data set. Anyway, that was the last thing. Go try out some filters and then check out this video for some more AL hacking. I'll see you there. Take care. Bye.